Doyrin Monastery. So today is Friday, the 22nd of April, and we are on a hike first to the Doyrin Monastery and then to the antique town of Neapolis. And we've been walking for about 7 kilometers, uphill mostly, from Doyrin along the lake, the reservoir, which provides Antalya with drinking water, I assume, which we might be able to see from where the monastery is. And you can still see that's the reservoir over there, and we have 2 quarries where perhaps already the Greek and Roman people mined the rock for their cities, which were plentiful in this area. And as you can see, it's a splendid day. It's about maybe 25 degrees, little breeze, very isolated, although it's just 8 kilometers away from the last village, which you can reach by bus. In this area you can still go further uphill in another direction, but not here, because we have the mountains and there are no more villages. So we went to Doyrin, which takes about an hour from the city center to reach by public transportation, which is very cheap for us, at least. Equals about 50 cents, euro cents, and the price in Turkish lira is 670. So we took the bus for an hour and started walking from the village of Doyrin. Bought some supplies, 2.5 liter Coke, Pepsi to be precise, and bought some bananas and some bread. And then we had a chat with 3 lovely Turkish ladies in the village, talking about Turkish-German friendship. And they presented us with 2 oranges and 2 apples. So we're going to eat the 2 oranges and the 2 apples during this hike. And the first stage, the first goal of the hike, is actually the monastery. And then the second one, as I said, is the antique town of Neapolis. And this is probably the water which the monks used since the 12th century when the monastery was built. Maybe there was even more water then. And then they established their monastery, and it was operational, functional until the mid-19th century when it was abandoned. Nobody really knows why. Maybe not many monks around who wanted to live that far away from the city, and maybe there were monasteries built in the city. And this might have been somehow maybe a watchtower or something like that, because I guess the monasteries had to be guarded as well, because in those years there were many different peoples fighting everywhere for the dominance of the area. So this might have been some kind of shed, watchtower or entrance building to the monastery. And we've got a signpost indicating 3 different things. The first one is the monastery, which is here, and the second one, which is 3 kilometers away, is the reservoir down there, which we are going to see. And the third one is the antique town of Neapolis, which is still 3.5 kilometers away from here. Okay, so we have to continue towards this direction later on, but we want to have a break here at the monastery and have a look around, of course, because we came up here to actually see some of the antique ruins. So we are not going to pass them. And it seems as if the monks chose the best view. I mean, the lake obviously was not there yet at the time, because that was probably built in, I don't know, probably the 20th century. But you probably could see the sea, the mountains, the valley already then. Look at this. This might have been some kind of depot. As you can see, the monks used the stones which they found here, probably little work on them, and then some smaller stones to fit them, and then some kind of mass in between. Let's see. Careful, careful, careful. So when we had a look from the other side, it actually all looked like one building. But you can see now that it's actually several buildings. And here you can see the entrance arch. And I guess this one here was probably a little church here. Can you see this? It's the windows and some kind of like a choir building. So I guess this was the chapel or cathedral. Well, not a cathedral, but the chapel. And this was maybe the living quarters here. But they chose quite a steep hill, so they had to be careful not to fall down. So as you can see, the windows were here, big windows. And since then, since the disoccupation in the 19th century, there's been growing a tree right out of the building, or several trees. So this was possibly the living quarter. 2 stories or 3 stories. With the windows. And it looks more impressive from actually the other side. It doesn't look that big now, but from the other side, from the path, from the trail, it really looked quite impressive. Like a little fortress from the other side. And you actually wonder what they ate, because there doesn't seem to be like a vegetable garden, herb garden, or fruit orchard. Nothing of the like. So yeah, maybe just 4 or 5 small buildings. This one was probably a building as well. And as I said, the building right on the right hand side probably was the church, the biggest building of all. See, that's the church. And then here we have like 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 living quarters, like cells, the monks. And we've got some arcs here. So who knows? I mean, probably some kind of building. Maybe that was the toilet. It's amazing that those arcs still hold and have not been falling down, considering that they were built in the 12th century. And yeah, amazing steep hill, and they still managed to construct straight walls for their buildings. Great. And a superb view. Yeah, I think we more or less saw it all, and somebody actually made a fire, but that was recent. Maybe that was some kind of a cellar. Look at this, and this view. It's superb. Doyrin Monastery. That's the place to be today. so that was the church probably. The altar. The entrance.